Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here talking about the greatest sport in America, America's pastime, baseball. I'm joined here by my two best buds talking baseball, H-Town Blake and Chris Garcia, aka Sports Brain, which it feels weird just calling you Sports Brain. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair. You can call me Chris. You know that. Always.
Yes, always. Let me just send out this tweet so that we're all good there. Fellas, how does it feel to be just so much closer to actual live baseball games?
It's amazing, dude. You know, it's the off season felt long. I don't know if it's just because we're all still cooped up, but it felt longer than it normally does, and it's nice to have baseball back. Just seeing videos today on social media of the gloves popping and the bats, the contact with bats. It warms my heart, and I'm ready for real baseball.
Yeah, for sure, man. I couldn't agree more with Chris. The off season felt like forever, especially with how weird football season was this year, both college and pro. Not only was it weird just because of the pandemic, but I thought it was really weird just the way that the whole results, both college and the NFL, rolled out. But yeah, it's exciting to see these guys back reporting today. Pitchers and catchers reported last week. But I think what's the most exciting thing is to look on the calendar and see spring training games this Sunday.
Yes. I don't care if they're a bunch of nobodies. It's just the fact that we get to watch.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure it's on all day Sunday, too. I know the Stros start at noon. And then right after that, if you look across the board, it's kind of all over the place. So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, it was it's definitely going to be great to be able to see it. I'm hoping we get a full 162 this year. Like, I enjoy that we got games last year. 60 games was cool, but I like having all 162 basically every day from about April 1st to basically Halloween. I can watch one baseball game a day.
Yeah, and kudos to the league because we all kind of were ready to put our seatbelt on a couple of months ago when the whole rumor was what the league was wanting to do with the guidelines going in, whether they were going to actually have to negotiate with the players getting the vaccine and things like that, how it could be a shortened season. That was like a real jury 2 weeks, but I couldn't be happier that the MLB finally did something right and not only got those issues out of the way, but did it in a time and manner that wasn't prolonged into actually being right here, right now at spring training.
Yeah, Rob Manfred maybe have finally done something right for a change.
Hey, even the blind squirrel finds an acorn every once in a while. But yeah, no, it's going to be fascinating, especially going from a 60-game season and how players were treated last year. There's a lot of minor league players that didn't get a lot of reps. So going to a 162-game season this year and hopefully a minor league schedule as well, it's going to be very interesting this year. There's going to be a lot of storylines to keep an eye on.
Yeah, but we might as well just talk about the big story of the last week. Chris, you want to lead this one off since this is your boy?
I mean, it was a beautiful day here in San Diego. Some would call it a holiday. 2 years ago today, we had our unveiling of Manny Machado, who signed with us for 10 years, $400 million or $300 million. And obviously this year we got our extension with Tatis, 14 years, $340 million. We were just talking before, he's getting paid $1 million this year, and it fluctuates back and forth. But an amazing gesture from Tatis to show that he's here for San Diego, and talking in his press conference today. It's beautiful, talking about how he wanted to win. He wanted to win in San Diego. He wanted that long-term contract because he just wanted to play. He just wants to play, and he just wants to win. And yeah, I mean, it's still kind of surreal that they got this wrapped up and got it done so quickly. So I'm just excited about the future.
He has a $10 million signing bonus. He just got $10 million for signing a goddamn contract. Why can't us normal folks get these signing bonuses?
Yeah, and less than 162 career games played too, which is kind of insane. But hey,
yeah. So the way that's going to work, so he gets $1 million this year. 2022 he gets $5 million. 2023 he gets $7 million. Then it goes 11, 20, 20, 25. Hold on. Come on, computer. 25 again. And then basically it goes up to 36, and then he gets that for the rest of it. So the last 7-8 years, he gets $36 million a year.
Yeah, and I think the structure, a lot of it had to do with the money that are on the books with Hosmer and Myers the next couple of years, so you can still kind of
Last 6 years. Okay, it's the last
yeah,
6 years.
so you can keep him around that number, and then once those contracts go off the book, he starts making a little bit more. But it shows that he wants to save money for this team to win and wants his team to spend. So yeah, it's crazy.
I also think it shows how I'll ride your coattails on it. It shows how well of a team player he is. Because let's face it, too, that money right now is friendly to a team that's having to pay these big arms that have come in for the starting rotation. And once you really look at that, I mean, we can all agree as a core that has pulled for San Diego this whole past previous year. That was the one missing crucial link right there. And I think that's really obvious that a guy that young knows that he's going to get paid regardless. So having that money set aside for the arms and pretty much the missing link for that team to not only be a contender but be a juggernaut in that division that already has another team that's a juggernaut in there is going to be really interesting this year. I mean, once you really think about it, we're going to get 19 playoff games basically pretty much between the Padres and the Dodgers, let alone seeing what's going to actually happen when the playoffs come around.
Yeah, I believe it's April 19th is the first matchup, and
Yep.
it's circled on the calendar. Like it's going to be must see TV, and it's like the rest of the NL West is not good, but you look at the top two teams in the Padres and the Dodgers, and you look at arguably two of the best 5 teams in baseball right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like you guys were saying, this contract here, the first few years, is very team friendly. So they're definitely making sure that it doesn't completely handicap the team, so that they can still go ahead and maybe get those missing pieces that they need, because it doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. If they don't get past the Dodgers in the playoffs, the season's a wash, really.
Yeah, it's interesting, and especially with the Dodgers just continuing to be able to have talent and acquire players. Like it's an arms race really in the NL West, and it's crazy. And I don't think it's anywhere near done. Like I think we'll see a lot of moves during the season too, and it's just gonna get more and more insane. But it's gonna be must see TV, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the only thing that I'll add to that situation too is, regardless of what happens and who takes the division in this scenario, that banner means nothing if you don't get past that team in the playoffs. I mean, let's face it, the A's kind of learned that the hard way. They're going to have that banner, but they could not get past, obviously, the Astros to move on to the AL championship game. So, yes, it's going to be must-watch TV, but what's going to be so cool about it is that dance is not done going into the playoffs. That team, I could see this coming down to an arms race at the end of the year on what pitching core is more intact is going to actually get to the division. But that doesn't mean that that's going to be the hotter team going into the playoffs. So I think that is an interesting side note to put in the back of your minds and the back of your brains to watch out for going into the playoffs, because we all know and we've all seen those sneaky teams that have caught fire at the right time and gone through the wild card and taken it all the way to win the trophy at the end of October.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at last year, even what happened with the Padres with Clevenger and Lamette going into that playoffs. Like, I think that series is completely different if those two arms are there, but they weren't. It happened the way it did,
Absolutely.
So it's like those arms are important, and not only in the regular season, but you need those healthy arms in the postseason.
Ashley,
and on top of that,
thanks for stopping by.
You think about it too. I mean, you guys have added core 3s and 4s too, that are used to being 1s and 2s on below 500 teams. I already told you, Chris, I know we like the sexy names and things like that, but I love Joe Musgrove. So seeing him go to you guys and, kind of seeing how the Padres have slowly become my adopted team in the NL, that's going to get me to watch those West Coast games late at night and things like that, is because you have the Blake Snells over there and the guys that you like that are just on any given team and on any given day. So I think that's not only going to benefit you guys, obviously, in the bullpen, but your young arms that are already going to be studs, that's going to give the pressure off of their shoulders to be able to shine in their own ways as well.
Yeah. And talking about going from a 60 to 162 game season, I think with the rotations, a big thing to look at is there's talk of the Padres starting the season with the 6-man rotation. Like, I mean, it's these arms, they were short last year, so it's like got to kind of protect them early in the season. So that'll be interesting if we get a 6-man rotation, because then more of those young guys will get an opportunity to pitch early in the season.
Well, I mean, look what you guys did with a bunch of no names last year too. You know, you guys pitched bullpen games that you dominated in too as well. So I think that's the biggest thing too. Because I mean, let's face it. I mean, who knows what will happen with Clevenger? I mean, we all pretty much know that it's going to be Mo or that he's not pitching this year, whether then he's coming back or not. But who knows with the way that rehab goes sometimes with some of these arms. But like we said, even if you don't have him, you guys have a solid 1 through 5, 1 through 6, and adding that 6-man in every now and then will say your 1 through 4 or 1 through 5, maybe 6, 7 starts throughout the year, which is crucial come playoff time.
Exactly.
So this season, the Padres payroll is going to be about $160 million. Chris, if you had to guess, what do you think their salary was before they signed Manny? Actually, no, it should probably go before Eric Hosmer.
So what are we talking, like 2014?
Yeah, wasn't it like under 50?
40, yeah, it was like 42 or something like that. Like, it's insane. Like the Peter Seidler, he's in charge now, and he's said many times he's in it to win it. Like, he's not here to just own a team and like cash checks. Like, he is here to win, and he's showing it with his pockets the last 4 or 5 years. But it's kind of surreal to have watch a team, especially like the Padres, spend money and be willing to take these risks.
And this wasn't the only move that they made this offseason. Like they went and got some pitching help. They got Yu Darvish, Blake Snell. So, and like we already talked about, Joe Musgrove. So they are solidifying. Yeah. Well, was it before the Myers contract hit too? Like it was like they were probably bottom 5.
They were perennial bottom 5s because the ownership didn't want to spend money on players. Like, that's how it was at the time.
You got to spend money to make money. Like, you got to spend money to put a good product on the field. If you put a good product on the field and you win, fans will come to the games.
Right.
And
I think it's kind of cool too. I think it's kind of cool too because we kind of show a different dynamic too. I mean, let's face it, San Diego doesn't have any other thing but Padre baseball now. So it's kind of cool to see a guy, like Chris said, come in and say, we're here to win, but we're here to put a product out there for this town. But you see people, A, want to go to Southern California in the offseason, and B, be part of the hype and the trend that these younger minds and younger generations in the front office are now putting in the president. You know, happened in Houston's organization. San Diego's kind of got the blueprint, and honestly, you guys know how high I was on him last year, and I'm going to continue to be high on him in the AL. The Chicago White Sox front office has that mindset right now, and that right there is changing literally franchises around at the blink of a hat. You know, once you get that first guy to come sign, it's kind of like the dominoes start falling into place because these front offices know, hey, money's going to not only put people in the seats, but money's going to get us to the promised land too as well. So you don't have a lot of people holding their checkbooks close to their chest anymore. They already got the pin out and ready to sign it.
So our resident Dodger fan, Suge Knight, 323, thanks for stopping by me, my man. We'll definitely have to get you on when we have a Padres and Dodgers series and see what sort of trash talk we can get going on there. We also got our most probably loyal listener, Taryn. Thanks for stopping in, Taryn. Taryn, the fact that you're an Angels and a Dodgers fan just makes me cringe. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I just looked this up. Yeah, his first 2 years, he got like $1 and $2 million, and then the $20 million hit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, they're at $160 million for this year, which is a decent amount. I don't know if they're gonna. I just don't think they can get past the Dodgers, especially with who the Dodgers signed this offseason. God, I was so pissed. Anywhere else, I would have been fine. Anywhere else Trevor Bauer wants to sign, I would have been fine. He freaking played the New York Mets fan base like a goddamn fiddle.
That's what he's about. He's about himself, man. You know, it's whatever he can do to make himself the center of attention. But I'm glad he went to LA because he said on many times that Manny is his daddy and that he's terrified of him. So I love it. I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, you're gonna see that quite a bit there. Let me pull up.
The only thing I'm going to say about Trevor Bauer, and I hope people realize that I'm saying this just on a limb, but a lot of the hype coming off of a 60-game season is really weird to look at, okay? Because if you go look at Trevor Bauer's stats for the past 3 years, he is more dominant before the All-Star break than he is after the All-Star break. And that's not even before he gets his drones out and cuts his fingers during the World Series. So all I'm saying is I'm setting the table right here, right now, before spring training even has its first game, that the Dodgers bullpen will fall apart after the All-Star break. And I think that right there is going to be the Padres' chance to take the division this year.
Sure. So yeah, their first game is in San Diego on April 16th is when that starts.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun series. It's going to be must see TV, man.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the matchup. I can almost guarantee you if a game falls on like a Sunday, it will almost always be the Sunday night game. I can. Yeah, Bauer's new agent, she's pretty clever. She was like giving people like a play-by-play on like Twitter, like the weeks leading up to his signing. We'll see, Shug. We shall see. It's a 162 game season. And I think I saw Bauer is going to be making more than I think it was the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, he's making more than an entire team in one season, and that is overpaid as it gets.
That's so ridiculous.
But it's so the Dodgers though to pay that.
Yeah, because they can. Because the Dodgers
well,
can.
Of course, you know. Well, I mean, I'm just saying that's the Dodgers for you, right there.
It's because they're obviously more scared than they're willing to put out there of the team down south that's been making moves. So you don't make that move unless you're nervous.
Like Bauer's a great pitcher, but I'm not paying that money for him.
Oh no,
okay?
No.
I'm not. Now saying that, obviously, yes, the Dodgers front office went and did what they needed to do with what the Padres did in the offseason. Does it give you more of a sigh of release as a Dodger fan? Absolutely. Does it add to the arsenal that you already have? Absolutely. But there's a lot of more questions on the back end of the bullpen that I'm more worried about if I'm a Dodgers fan than the starting half. The 1 through 9 is going to be, I mean, you could flip a coin on the 1 through 9 between San Diego and the Dodgers, but I really think that it's going to come down to the health, basically, of where your pitching core is after the All-Star break on what's going to decide that division this year.
Yeah. Like we say all the time, it's pitching will always make a difference, especially your bullpen, because that's who you'll be using through the meat of the season, because your starters will start to probably not be able to go as far into games. So you're definitely going to need those bullpens to help eat up those innings. So we'll definitely have to see there. There was another major move that was made this offseason outside of Trevor Bauer. Nolan Arenado gets traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. Offhand, off the top of my head, I can't think of any other team that has a better first and third baseman between Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. That's a pretty good corners.
Yeah. Like off the top of my head, yeah. Like
Hosmer is so hit and miss.
No, I wasn't even going to bring that up, to be honest. Yeah.
And the Astros, maybe you could say Yuri and Bregman are pretty good too, but I feel like Goldschmidt and Arenado are better.
Yeah, Yuli's definitely underrated as a first baseman, but I don't think you can even put them in the category together on that. The Cards, man, I give credit to them. You know, they they are a good young core that has been producing ahead of its time. And to add the pieces like Goldschmidt and Arenado, I think is going to boost them not only in the win column, but morale wise too, as well, because you have those veterans that are on there. And let's face it, too, I really think that Nolan Arenado is already a superstar in the game of baseball, but seeing him go into a baseball town like St. Louis, I think is going to put him on another level for not only the fans, but for the brand of MLB. So I really, really like that move all around. It stinks really bad if you're a Rockies fan, the 12 that they have. But seeing him, a superstar like that go to a baseball town in the Midwest like that is really, really cool to see. And I'm kind of looking forward to that. And that's even coming from an Astros fan that was born and bred to hate the Cubs and the Cardinals growing up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think a lot of people thought that the Cardinals were going to be in a rebuilding season, but when you traded for probably the best third baseman in all of baseball, you're not in a rebuild year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I mean, you can even throw the top 10 all around overall player. Let's say everyday player. You just put pitching aside. I mean, Nolan Arenado is going to do some big things there. And to be honest with you, I think putting a guy like that in the middle of the lineup is going to free up some pressure too on Goldschmidt. And I think Goldie will have a solid year this year as well too.
Yeah. Having him around Goldie is only going to help. And I mean, the one question you can always ask, as you do in Players League Colorado, is how is that not playing at the friendly confines of Coors really going to affect them over time? But he's one of those dudes. He's definitely one of the best third basemen of the game. And yeah, the Cardinals, I don't know how they got them to pay for it, but they got themselves a hell of a deal.
For sure.
Yeah, and Paul Goldschmidt signed a pretty big deal just like a season or two ago. So they have both of them are on big deals there. Another move, which probably hurts Blake to say, George Springer goes to Toronto. He goes north of the border,
which is hilarious because remember what was it last year? Like we were trash talking Toronto, and we're like, "What free agent's ever going to go there in the off season?" The only thing that was saving grace was that Michael Brantley didn't go with them because there was a lot of talk. You remember?
Yeah, it even made
news that he's on the move, and they said, "Hey, not so fast. We have a contract on the table with him," which was a huge sigh of relief because Michael Brantley's like severely underrated.
Agreed.
I saw that he actually got some love in the top. He made like top 25, I think, in the MLB on the countdown, which was a surprise. But man, he's severely underrated. His bat has been super, super solid for the Astros. I was very, very grateful to keep him because remember I was telling you guys after Springer's side, I was like, well, we got Kyle Tucker in the outfield, and that's it really right now, But yeah, man, that one hurts. He got paid. I'm happy for him. And, I'm not saying that I can't root for the guy because, I mean, I don't have any hate for the Blue Jays. In fact, the Blue Jays made some pretty good, solid moves in the offseason. So it will be interesting to see what they can do. Maybe not this year, but maybe come trade deadline and going into the next season, on some of the names that they have attracted up there and the young core that they have. Because I mean, you can always say teams need pitching, but it would be really interesting if they could not only trade for or sign another big bat to go up there and compete with the other teams in that division, like the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they at least outside of the Yankees, because I mean, the Yankees just continue to do what they do and continue to buy and stockpile talent. But
Boston's trading away all it's so weird to think about Boston's outfield.
Yeah.
Not even 16 months ago. They lost Ben Attendee and they lost Betts. So all they have there is Jackie Bradley Jr.
Well, Jackie Bradley Jr. is a free agent. In fact, I'm kind of hopeful that the Astros can somehow sign him because he's one of the only names that's still kind of out there that hasn't signed yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about the Mets, the Mets did trade for Francisco Lindor, which I was not expecting that, to be honest, him to go there. Because I know there was a point last year where it was rumored the Padres were in on him. And I'm like, wait, why? They have a shortstop.
Yeah,
They have two shortstop.
There was a lot of talk of Tatis to center, some random garbage like that, but I don't think it was ever really deep talks. But no, the Mets getting Lindor is a huge coup for them. Like he's a fantastic player. I know they're going to have to work out a contract and hopefully make this trade actually mean something to get him signed long term. But yeah, the Mets are making some moves right now, and that AL East is going to be or the NL East is going to be very interesting next year.
I would have bought into the Mets hype that the media is selling right now if they would have landed Springer.
Bauer?
Okay. No, if they would have landed Springer. And if they would have landed Bauer, then if they would have landed Bauer, Springer, then Lindor, then we could talk about them actually truly competing in the NL. Yeah. But I think us three can all agree that the Mets are going to have to show us that they can contend, because I'm tired of hearing year in and year out that they're going to contend and then seeing them at the bottom of the basement every year. Now, I understand that, they've had a lot of injuries. They've had a lot of mishaps and stuff like that. Team's been sold. There's a guy there that's got a bigger checkbook. But, I really thought that they were going to – after they landed Lindor, I was like, okay, it's a given. They're either going to get Springer or Bauer. So for them not to land either or, I'm really not buying the media hype of them being crowned the champion already in February of that division. In fact, I think if anything, the Braves have gotten stronger with signing a guy like Charlie Morton in their rotation. And I think that the disrespect will fuel a young team like that to show that that's their division still.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the last week or two, a lot of those MLB predictions were coming out. One of them had the Mets with 90 plus wins. I'm like, what? Because their roster on paper looks decent. I don't know. I was like, did you forget that the Braves were just a
Well, don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Their pitching rotation is great. The 1 through 9 looks really good with adding Lindor. The defense is obviously beefed up on that side of the field. Could they win 90 games? Yes. But how likely is that if everybody else in that division stays healthy? If the Phillies actually pull their heads out of their butts, and actually contend, which they should have for the past 2 years. And I mean, that would have to be a really big fall off with Atlanta, So I'm not only that, but I mean, let's not forget the bottom feeders last year down in Florida, that made the playoffs. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of moving parts going on there in that division. So to crown the Mets organization that struggled year in and year out for the past 3 years, it is a kind of a bad look. But I mean, that's the media hype on not only the New York but the LA media when it comes along with the sports teams.
Yeah. So I think they're one of the teams to keep an eye out on because, on paper, they look like they could be pretty good, but there's a reason why they play and not just, we have these on the roster. Let's do a simulation type of thing. So we'll see. But I did just take a look at the schedule on the 28th. It's just like every spring training game. All games are at 1 o'clock Eastern and then 1 o'clock Pacific. Mountain time right now. So 12 on the West Coast. So basically the 28th, and then we'll get games every day there. And then the season is slated to start April 1st. Padres and Diamondbacks actually open up against each other. And I'm not making that bet this year, Chris.
I was waiting.
No,
I was waiting for it.
No, I ain't doing that this year. Let me see. You just signed Fernando Tatis to a $340 million deal, and I don't know what the Diamondbacks are this year. So
how about this? How many games that I need to give you in hand?
Oh, jeez.
We're talking 15.
No,
are we talking about 15, 20 win difference?
Yeah.
What if we cushed him 25 wins? I think that's fair.
I was like, should I go 15 or 20?
I think 25. would be.
He's not going to
falling
get a lot of.
from
He's
grace.
not going to get a large number out of me for 25.
I
That's for
swear,
certain.
if
That's
the
for
Padres
certain.
win 25 more games, say it's probably what, like 90 wins, maybe 95. Are you? No, I ain't doing it. Mr. ASG 1982 here brings up a good point. What are your all's thoughts on Desmond opting out again, second year in a row?
I mean, it's his choice. They've given him the option, but it's like you've got to kind of look at everything on the field and the way the Rockies, as bad as they look this year. Like, I don't know if you have a reason to opt out. I don't know why you don't take it. I mean, the organization's clearly opted out this season.
He probably just like he's probably doing fine on money. So he's like, is it really a good idea to risk my health and risk my family's health? Because I believe he has a younger child, so he definitely doesn't want to put the child in that sort of scenario. I'm just like, what are you doing with your free time?
Yeah, who knows really what he wanted to do? But obviously, when it comes to, like you said, there becomes a point in every sports player's career where it's like, do you want to play, or are you happy with the money that you made? And I think with Ian Desmond, I think it's a mixture of both. I think wanting to be with the family is more of a crutch lean than saying I really want to continue to play baseball. If he wanted to really if he really wanted to continue to play baseball, he would have told the front office, you need to trade me because I don't have that many years left. And honestly, I don't really care where I go. I just don't want to be here, obviously. So, I mean, that like Chris said, I mean, that's his decision. Who knows what I really think on it. But if he wanted to play baseball, he'd be playing baseball. And he could make it happen to where it's not in Colorado if he really wanted to.
ASG 1982 brings up another solid point. Barely line for San Diego wins is 94.5. Arizona 74.5. So it is that 20 games.
Well, we'll bookmark this. We'll have to go back to that. I'll work on you before the season starts.
That's so funny. Do it.
How much though? Can we go like $60?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Why don't we do forget money? Let's do a pride bet, okay? Something that you have to do on the podcast. Leaves money out of it. It makes it more fun. Y'all think of something regardless of what it is, and we can do a shame bet. How about that?
See, but that's not fair because Brandon's kind of a Padres fan anyway. So any shame I could do to him, he's gonna be like, "That's cool with me."
Well, I mean, wearing a Yankees hat.
No, I know. It can be non-Padres.
Or having to wear Dodger blue, is more of a. Is more. I think that's more of a betting. That's more pride in winning the bet.
I'm like, I don't want to see that
money.
I don't want to see anyone in Dodger blue. No, I know. I'm gonna have to think about this.
I'm just saying, man. It makes it more interesting. We can make a running tick down at the bottom too of who's in the lead week in and week out, monthly update. I think we could all do something like that. To be honest with you,
I love it. We're workshopping on the air. It works.
It does work. It does work there. But no, very excited for the season to start on Sunday. Rumor is that the stadiums here for spring training in Phoenix will be open to the public, so I'm probably gonna go because I need my fix. Yeah. I haven't been to a live event anything until last year's spring training. I went to a spring training game like the day before.
So are you guys ready for this?
What's up?
So the last game that I went to was Altuve's walk-off in the ALCS. That was the last game I've been to. It's literally been over a year and like 4 months.
I mean,
that's the last baseball game I've been to.
Theoretically, I can say I watched Game 4 of the ALCS in San Diego because I watched it from my friend's balcony.
Yeah, you
but I wasn't technically in the ballpark.
He did.
But yeah, no, I miss live sports, and I actually got an email.
But if you're technically
Sorry, what were you saying?
You're technically part of the crowd because the camera was there.
Yeah, I was like, I was there. I watched the Padres game from the balcony, and I got to watch an ALCS game. So it was a good time. So I just can't wait to actually sit in the stands with the beer in my hand and just screaming my head off. It's gonna be fun once we get back in.
Yeah,
I can tell you
nice.
guys right now that all of my vendor favors are going to be used the week of May 24th all the way to the 30th, because the homestand at Minute Maid that week is the Dodgers on Tuesday night and Wednesday night, and then that weekend we have a 3-game series against the Padres.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So all of my favors will be called in that week, and my wife's going to be really happy that I'm probably at the ballpark multiple nights in a row in that week.
She'll be, yeah. You'll be on good terms for sure.
Yeah, I'll be like, they're free. I can't turn them down.
That's right. It's just rude to turn down free tickets.
It's just rude to turn stuff down like that.
So I want us to do this. What is everyone's World Series predictions?
Ooh.
White Sox Padres. I know that's easy, but those are two teams that I have hyped for the past year and a half. And I think that young talent is going to make a push. And I think that it won't be trendy anymore. It will be the way of the future that the front offices of both those organizations have built their franchise for the future.
I'm gonna go Padres Yankees. I obviously I'm going Homer in the NL, but there's a couple other teams I could easily plug in there. But I think that we're gonna have the talent, and they're gonna make the moves in the at the trade deadline to make any pushes that might be needed. And I mean, the Yankees are the Yankees. They bulked up this year. They got better. I mean, they're still a really talented team, and I think they have enough to take it in the AL.
I don't want to seem like a homer, so I'll go Dodgers Yankees. Because
Fair.
I can't, and Blake took mine anyway. Like, that's my honest thoughts, is who I would like to see, but that Dodgers roster is still pretty stacked, even though they lost Kike Hernandez. So,
and yeah, I'm 100%. We could go back and forth on this, on who we think are just juggernauts in general, but we always think about the Dodgers and the Yankees, but we always forget the what if scenarios. And we were really successful on that not even picking our division winners last year. So I'm always put that in the back of my head. So I know the Padres are a really, really, really easy pick in the NL, but I really think that this White Sox team has learned a lot from last year, and them not only bulking up but getting coaching that they needed to make those crucial decisions is going to help them push them over to go farther in the playoffs.
yeah, I just if we get a Yankees Dodgers, basically what Ashley's saying is, yeah, I'll root for them both to lose.
Me too.
Mid-air collision.
Yeah, all right. Let's be honest. What would you rather do? Be hit in a head-on collision by a car, or watch a Yankees Dodgers World Series?
Give me the car. I know how to tuck and roll.
The media has tried so hard to make that work for the past 3 to 4 years. But, I mean, you call me a Yankee hater, but I think they're worse going into this year than they were going into last year. And that's just my opinion with the bullpen. Now, yes, their 1 through 9 is scary good, and they could pull the ball out of the park at any given moment. But I just don't see them coming out of the AL. A lot would have to happen for me to pick them as my AL favorite. But, I mean, who knows? We might be saying something totally different come October. We could have anybody sitting there. We could have a wild card like the Nationals 2 years ago actually make a run and actually hoist the trophy. We never know what's going to happen, and we never know what's going to happen in a real true 162 game season. I'm not saying that an asterisk should be by a 60 game winner or anything like that, but I'm just saying it's a different beast when it's a 162 game,
Yep. It was a full on marathon.
Any dark horses for AL and NL MVP?
Ooh.
Not sure. I gotta think about that.
I think it's not a dark horse, but maybe Juan Soto.
Yeah, what about we're gonna
Soto,
put
yeah.
somebody that's not on the radar? How about that?
All right,
Like not
and
even on the spectrum, basically. Juan Soto would have a really good rebound year. I think that's safe to say in the NL.
Yeah.
Let's just go around the horn.
Let's see. I'm trying to.
Paul Goldschmidt, maybe.
I mean, I could see Arenado having those kind of numbers, especially in St. Louis with talent around him. That's definitely a guy we can keep an eye on.
ASG with a hot take. Bryce Harper.
Man,
Bryce
they would
Harper.
need that in Washington to finally pay for that contract.
Um,
I'm trying to think of somebody that's not a
for the
a name
AL
that
though,
gets
it's
you.
really hard because if Mike Trout has a somewhat decent year and he plays all year, they're going to give it to Mike Trout.
It's insane what he continues to do. It really is. But
Like I think last year Mookie Betts made it very close. Like he closed that gap as to who's the best player. Some of those plays that he made in the World Series was just insane.
yeah. So for an AL dark horse, maybe Kyle Lewis out of in Seattle, depending on what happens
Ooh.
up there. Because I mean, obviously there might be a lot of changes there going forward, but that kid's really talented. And I mean, if we're talking dark horses, that's a guy I could see that could come up and put some stupid numbers up.
That is true. Ashley, who do I think you hate more, the Yankees or Bryce Harper? I'm going to go with the Yankees because that's something we have in common as we both despise the Yankees with an absolute passion. Sorry, ASG. I know you're a Yankees fan, but I can't stand the average Yankee fan is really hard to just stomach. They really are. Blake, do you have a dark horse outside of Bryce Harper? I mean, Mike Trout for AL MVP?
Hold on. I'm trying to think.
I figured you'd
So
go with
I'm
someone
gonna
from your White Sox, like Luis Roberts or someone like that.
You know who I'm gonna go with? I'm honestly gonna go with Josh Bell.
Okay.
He's on
That's
the
one of
Nats now, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Nationals. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Josh Bell, and I'm gonna go hometown and go Carlos Correa.
It's kind of
If
a
he can
homer
stay,
pick. It's kind of a homer.
it is a homer pick, but if he can stay healthy in his contract year, I think that he could do some big things. You know,
Yeah.
he's kind of at the end of at the end of it all. If anything, Houston really looked for somebody to step up and be a rally guy and a guy that could take the shots from the media last year. And I think if anything that he did it, and he's kind of solidified himself as the captain of the team as of last year. But yeah, I mean, Luis Roberts is somebody that I thought was too much of that guy could do it. So those are kind of names
That's fair,
that
yeah.
are top 20, I guess you could say, but a game that could people that could go to the next level in the next stratosphere, basically, to be a dark horse for MVP candidate.
Now that you ASG has also a good one. AL Matt Olson.
There you go.
A very solid pick there, ASG. Question. Say we do get fans at games this year. Are the Astros still gonna get booed?
Of course.
Yeah, I don't think it's over
Wow.
until we have a year
Yeah.
of like fans in the stadium. Like they're
I mean,
gonna
you think about it. Barry Bonds, what got booed the last 4 years of his career, basically. You know, I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. It's going to continue. It's going to be fun. I can tell you that. It's going to be fun to travel to different stadiums with Astros gear on. But I mean, yeah, of course it is. They've been vilified. You know, we have the Mariner story that came out that's going to be a blip on the radar, and we have coaches killing pitchers because they prescribe them too many pain medication, but those are little blips on the radars, you know. But at the same time, there's a letter that is circling around that should have been released months ago, hiding the same exact thing to a sweetheart of the MLB. So if they vilified a team, you know, and we'll wear it.
That's true. That's true. I do have to read something here real quick. Got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Legacy Financial. Last year was a tough year. However, staying positive, keeping your faith, and continue to work hard is the goal. If you're in a financial struggle at the moment and you need some help, if you're doing well and you want to get to the next level, either way, give them a call. Also, if you're looking for a new opportunity to work for yourself and earn more money part-time, give them a call. Call AO 510-928-2104 to book your appointment today. Andrew and AO are just two people on a mission to help families build a legacy. You can follow them on Twitter at legacy_uncut and Instagram at sims_uncut. Our next sponsor, Mom is Always Right Media. Are you feeling overwhelmed with schoolwork? Those essays keeping you up at night? Don't lose sleep. Just pick up the phone. Mom is Always Right Writing Agency will give you quality essays, and we will always make our deadlines. Sleep soundly knowing we are on the job. For more information, call 626-653-3649. Our next sponsor, It All Goes Down in the PM, podcast on Mom is Always Right Media. Make sure you check out the new episode of It Goes Down in the PM, brought to you by the Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. Coffee After Dark, another podcast on the Mom is Always Right Media. Don't miss the next chapter of your favorite love story. Check out the season 2 premiere of Coffee After Dark, brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. And just don't forget, on Mondays, our schedule is, you got Chi-Town Weekly with Adam Karnick, which is a Chicago-based sports show where they talk all Chicago sports, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then you got our show here on Bases Loaded, our baseball show with me, Brandon Buckingham, H-Town Blake, and Chris Garcia. Fellas, any parting thoughts for today?
I mean, for me, it was a great day. Like having the Tatis press conference today was really a nice way to start the day. We're into spring training. Before we know it, we're going to be watching regular baseball, and I just can't wait to get this season popping.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be interesting. I'm really ready for the season to start, and I'm really ready to be back at the ballpark. I really missed it last year. And honestly, I've even told my wife that I'm really interested in trying to take little man to some of the college games around here too. I really like, if you guys haven't noticed too, that if you have ESPN Plus, literally they have revamped college baseball, and you can stream pretty much any college baseball game on there. So just food for thought, if you're looking for something to watch during the week, jump on ESPN Plus and catch some of the college baseball. My college baseball skit, Brandon, so we know that we say that we did it right now. First week's in the books. Miami upsets #1 Florida to take the series, and Ole Miss, who we got a lot of love with last year, did we not, Brandon? They literally have not lost one game, and they're on a 19-game winning streak if you count the games that they played last season. And one of the coolest statistics is what I got sent you guys on the Florida Atlantic player. He had a freshman come in and hit a grand slam at his first at his collegiate career. They batted through the lineup, got back to him in the same inning with the bases loaded, and his second at-bat of his collegiate career hit another grand slam. 2 grand slams in 1 inning to start your collegiate career. And what the crazy thing about it, guys, is they weren't playing a scrub team. They were playing Central Florida on top of that. So they were playing somebody within their own division. So that's my quick college baseball throw-in for the week. I think top 25 came out, and obviously Florida has been defeated, losing to Miami in a 3-series game 2-1 this season, or at the beginning of this week.
Yep. Hold on. I'm actually bringing up that video that we shared in our group. Give me a second.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was so much college baseball on ESPN Plus. I'll definitely have to check it out this year.
Dude, it's really cool. Yeah, I watched a lot of stuff this weekend.
Nice.
Oh, we don't need to share audio. So here we go.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Just two grand slams to start your collegiate career.
Watch the second one. You think the video's on a loop because it's almost identically in the same spot. I wish they would have showed him running around in the first base. The kid was amped. You see it right there.
Yeah, he's hyped right there, man.
Amped. But watch this. It looks like it's on a loop because watch. This is the second at bat. Donkey.
The announcers, oh my goodness.
It looks like it's the exact same spot, you know.
That's really impressive.
Well,
That's
and
really
I know we
impressive.
talked about it briefly, but what are the odds of A, hitting 2 grand slams in a game, but B, doing it your first 2 at bats of anything, and then C, doing it in the same inning? That's just crazy.
I told you, man. He's got to buy a lotto ticket after that if he's old enough, because
Sure.
like those odds, those odds are astronomical.
That was amazing. All right, Chris, where can everyone find you online?
On Twitter, Instagram, Sports Brain. See me golfing or talking about baseball, one or the other, I guess.
All right, and Blake?
You can find me at htown_Blake, and you'll notice that the only time I really get on Twitter is during college football and baseball season.
That is very true. You can follow me at BrandonBuck88. You can also follow the show's Twitter at Bases Loaded IESR for IU Sports Radio. Make sure to give us a follow on there. We'll be more active now that baseball season's coming up. It's going to be a fun year. Fingers crossed we get all 162. We will see you all next time.